Bladesmiths, this is the strength test, the wooden ramrod chop. To test the strength and durability of your edge, as well as the overall construction of your knives, I'll be chopping into this ramrod 10 times. Bob, you're up first. You ready?
No, but let's do it.
Steel is a finicky little critter. Sometimes it works real good, sometimes it just snaps in your face. You'll never know until you test it. And there she goes. Feel like a punch in the gut.
Well, Bob, quite obviously, your blade broke.
Bob, your blade suffered a critical failure in the very first strike of the very first test.
Oops.
For that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
If you've never broken a blade as a bladesmith, you haven't bladesmith. I have no regrets. This is merely a stumbling block when you're walking down the street. You get up, you dust yourself off, and you move on. I came here to prove that I can make a knife under strenuous conditions in 3 hours. I did that. Win or lose, I did that.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the keel test. Your bouges look beautiful, but are they deadly? Well, to find that out, I will take your weapon and deliver killing blows on 2 pig carcasses. All right, Benton, are you ready to ham it up?
Ready to rock and roll.
Let's do this.
I've never made this style of weapon before. I've never been able to test this kind of construction. I just don't know how it's gonna hold up.
Oh, man. Well, Ben, any warrior knows that if you leave a piece of shrapnel that big in a target, it's deadly. However, a warrior also knows that his weapon needs to be strong, and your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure in our very first test. And therefore, you cannot move forward in this competition. Come on, brother. Did a great job, man.
I feel pretty bummed, but this challenge has been both very difficult and invigorating at the same time. I've made things that I've never made before, and I've overcome some challenges that I've never had to face before. So overall, it was a great experience.
All right, bladesmiths, for a strength test, I'm going to take your sabers and I'm going to beat them and stab them into these field obstacles. Now, I'm not really concerned about what your swords do to our obstacles. I want to see the opposite, what they do to your swords. How you feeling, Chris?
Good as I can be, sir.
All right.
This test is about as extreme and brutally abusive as you can put a weapon through. I'm feeling pretty nervous.
That right here.
Oh.
No cuts, no blood.
Lucky day.
Chris, your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure in our strength test, and unfortunately, you cannot continue with testing, which means you cannot be the Forged Fire Champion. Please exit the forge. Come on forward, pal.
I did have a small issue when it got to my heat treat.
That's all right, man.
I didn't want to risk a second quench because I didn't want to make it overly brittle. I do have some regret about that decision at this point. Of course, I would have liked to be the Forged Fire Champion, but I am really proud of myself as a weapons maker, and I plan on getting right back in my forge when I get home, and I'm going to move forward as ever.
Bladesmiths, to test the strength and durability of your Kelowangs, I'm going to chop into them. Remember, this test is all about what they do to your Kelowang and not what your Kelowangs do to them. Hunter, you're up first. You ready?
Ready as I'm gonna get.
Hunter, your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure and can no longer continue with testing. For that reason, I have to dismiss you from the forge.
I'm feeling pretty disappointed. I don't know, I just thought it was gonna be more solid than that. If I could start over again, I'd make the blade a little wider, a little thicker, and make sure I didn't have a stress point in it. I still wanna go full time. I've definitely learned a lot. Every blade I make from now on is going to be better.
Welcome to the strength test. Obviously, the ice block chop. I'm gonna take your completed knives and I'm going to smash them quite vigorously and enthusiastically into these big chunks of ice 10 times. Ron, how you feeling?
A little nervous.
It's all right. I'm not nervous, it'll be okay. Oh, Ron, this is definitely a big issue here. Material sheared right away from the sprocket steel here.
Ron, your blade has suffered a catastrophic blade failure in our strength test. Unfortunately, that means that your blade did not make the cut. I have to ask you to please leave the forge. Thank you.
Being here meant a lot to me. I didn't make it all the way, but when I get home, I'm gonna get all my kids, give them all a big hug, and practice with some more chain. This time, I won't hate the chain as long.
The sawback hunting sword. As the name implies, it's used for hunting, to hunt for the kill. I'm gonna take your weapon, deliver lethal blows on this ram carcass. All right, Devin, it's your turn. You ready?
I'm ready.
Well, Devin, you brought us a beautiful sword, but it had critical failure. It broke.
Devin, I'm just gonna be direct. Your blade has suffered a catastrophic weapons failure and can't continue with testing. In other words, it doesn't make the cut, and I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
Thank you. I came in here looking for the hardest, craziest challenge I could get, and I think I got it. Winning would have been great. Second place on Forge and Fire, I'm happy with that too. It's been one hell of a ride.
Bladesmiths, welcome to our strength test. What I'm gonna do is take each of your weapons and beat them repeatedly and viciously into different points of this shield. Shay, you're up first. How you feeling?
Good, let's do it.
Shay, your blade has suffered a catastrophic failure and cannot continue with testing, but that doesn't mean that you're out of this competition. Levi, your blade needs to survive at least 9 strikes on this shield. Are you ready?
Indeed, sir.
Shay, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Jay Nielsen, are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do this, gents. Levi, unfortunately, your blade suffered a catastrophic failure on the first strike against that shield. And for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
I definitely proved what I came to prove. I wanted to be able to push myself beyond my regular limits. Good job, dude. Good job. My family at home is definitely gonna be proud of me, and I'm taking home skills and knowledge that I didn't have before I came here. And that's definitely a win for me.
All right, gentlemen, what I'll do to test the strength of your blades is try to break through that door. Now, this test is not about what your axes do to this door, but what this door does to your axes. Carl, you ready?
100%.
Okay. Okay, Carl, I have some questions about the construction of this head.
Okay.
Was this a solid piece going from this side to this side?
No, it's MIG welded to the tang of the spear on the inside.
Because, okay, that's what I didn't want to have happen.
Carl, unfortunately, your weapon has suffered a catastrophic failure in the middle of our strength test and can no longer be tested safely. And for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
Thank you. Good luck, man. I'm disappointed. I'm a very competitive person, but I have absolutely 100% zero regrets. The whole idea for me is I wanted to see what I could do and how far I could push myself. First thing I'm gonna do when I get home, I'm gonna kiss my wife, have an adult beverage, and think about what the next project is.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. To test the strength and durability of your blades, I am going to be bashing your knives with a baton into these copper pipes, mercilessly. Remember, this test is all about what the pipes do to your blades and not what your blades do to the pipes. Derek, are you ready?
Do it. I love destructive testing.
Derek, unfortunately, you suffered a catastrophic blade failure after only 5 strikes on the copper pipe. You cannot continue with testing, and for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
Hey, it was so great, yeah. I might have heat treated a bit hot. I was in a real rush in round 1. I think I did the best I could in the time that was given me. I was kind of stressed on the floor, but truthfully, it was wonderful. I loved it.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. To test the strength and durability of your scythes, I've affixed them to our forged in fire coffin.
Oh, God.
And I will be batoning your edge many, many times. Remember, this test is all about what the batons do to the scythes and not what the scythes do to the batons. Chase, you're up first. You ready?
Let's do this.
All right.
As Ben pulls out this bone, I'm immediately worried about edge damage.
Chase, unfortunately, your blade has suffered a catastrophic weapons failure and will no longer continue in this competition. And for that reason, I have to ask you to please shake your competitor's hand and leave the forge.
Good job, man. I'm very proud of my scythe. It was the best work that I possibly could have done. I've learned a lot about myself personally and the ways that I work under pressure, and I had a really great time doing all this. Right now, it's kind of hard to express that, but I really have had a great time.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test, the antler chop. To test the strength and durability of your Celtic ring knife blades, as well as the overall construction, I'm going to be bashing them into these antlers. Jody, you're up. You ready?
I am.
Jody, this is a competition where the best blades move forward, and unfortunately, that catastrophic blade failure means you can no longer continue with testing. And for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
My last 18 years in the military has taught me anything, it's adapt and overcome. I'm probably gonna make this knife again and again, just so I can prove to myself that I can still do it. Even though I'm not moving on to round 3, I couldn't pick 2 better smiths to lose to. These guys are exceptional. I wish them the best.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. I'm gonna take each of your blades and beat them mercilessly into these bones. I don't really care what your blades do to the bones. I wanna see what the bones do to your blades. It's that time, Sean. How you feeling?
Well, time will tell now.
Oh!
There he goes.
Only epoxy holding this. You made the mistake of gluing your scales on, then trying to drill all the way through, and then it was too hard. So there's no mechanical connection. The stress from those 3 blows was enough to pop the scale right off.
All right, Sean. Unfortunately, your blade suffered a catastrophic failure in the handle and can no longer continue in this competition. Please leave the forge.
I've always been told your worst mistakes are your best lessons. This challenge has really been like a baptism in fire. If I had more time, I probably would have decided to put some mechanical fastening on that handle.
All right, gentlemen, it's time for the strength test. Now, Attila's armies were basically one large cavalry. And through his military campaigns, he revolutionized the use of horse in military conflicts. So to test the strength and durability of your blades, I'll be chopping into these horse skulls. All right, Dan, are you ready?
No, but let's do it.
Everybody says that.
At the guard.
Dan, unfortunately, your blade suffered a catastrophic failure in the middle of our strength test, which means that we can no longer test it. I'd like to invite you to shake our hands, shake your competitor's hand, and then please leave the forge.
It hurts, but my sword breaking is going to be a reminder that I have to push harder and be better.
Dan, keep up the work. That's a good sword.
I came here to prove that I can compete with the big dogs and that I do know what I'm doing, and I think I might have accomplished that.
All right, bladesmiths, welcome to the kill test. The cane sword. What an elegant way to walk around with a concealed weapon. To find out what kind of lethal damage your weapon will do, I will take your cane sword and deliver killing slashes and blows on this ballistics dummy. All right, Ashley, it's your turn. Are you ready, sir?
Absolutely.
Let's do this.
This is the kill test, and a cane sword has to kill. If it doesn't, this is the end of the line.
Oh!
There it was.
Bro, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Well, Ashley, when we have a tough break on this show, it's literal. You suffered a catastrophic failure and cannot continue in this competition. And for that reason, I'd like to invite you to please leave the range.
It's heartbreaking, but I am incredibly proud of the work that I've done. When I get home, the first thing I'm gonna do is make another cane sword. I gotta do it right, at least once.
So it goes.